tasks, a shorter one, which is like a graph or some kind of data, and a longer one which is about a kind of essay on a different topic. All right, and we'll also have a look at how the scoring is done for the writing test and what the secrets are for getting 6.5 or over. All right, so far so good. Any questions? No? Great. All right, good. So, if you have a question, it's okay anytime. It's a very small group, so any question anytime is great. Yeah. All right. If I'm speaking too quickly, then just say slow. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Great. Good. So let's have a look at the stuff. So what is the test? So Ielts means the International English Language Testing System. Yeah. It's basically run by the British Council in England and Ielts Australia. And in Japan it's now run by the Aiken group, by STEP, are now responsible. They took it over from the British Council a few years ago to promote it more in Japan. So it's becoming more popular in Japan now that Aiken are kind of looking after promotion. So it's based on skills. So a mixture of reading, writing, speaking and listening. Again, you're going to know that. So quite a long test, I'm sure. Did you take it in 1 day or 2 days?
2 days.
2 days, yeah. Okay. And I know these days, because so many people take it, some people take it in everything in 1 day, and that's a lot of work. I think it's quite tiring. Yeah. So you did the listening, reading and the writing on 1 day and then speaking on a different day. Yeah. Okay. You can still do that, definitely. Yeah. All right. Very good. So divided into academic and general training modules. So the reading and the writing are a little bit different depending on whether you're taking academic or general training. We're going to focus on the academic because that's what MBA courses want, is an academic score. Okay. All right. So it's graded by 9 band scores. So 0 basically means that you didn't speak any English. So if you just go in the test and speak Japanese all the time, then you would get a 0 because there's no English language. And 9 is basically a native speaker or somebody who is as good as a native speaker at the highest level. Okay. So the reading and the listening are scored from a template. So that means that you just write the answers and the office staff will check it. And they just have the answers written on their sheet, and then it's either correct or it's not correct. The speaking and the writing are scored by an examiner. So the examiner who does your interview will check your level at the time and give you a grade. And then with the writing, the script will be given to a trained examiner, and they will use descriptions, like which actually these, you can find them in the handbook. We'll talk about those later. So there's actually a description of kind of what it means to be at each level. So it shows that there are sentences which show what it means to be an expert user at level 9, or what it means to be a modest user at level 5, and that's how the examiner decides on the grade. We'll look at those more closely soon. All right. So that's basically what it is. Now, what's good about the arts test? So there's a lot of research into language learning and language competence that has gone on. So basically for more than 100 years, they've been researching, and all that kind of went into the construction of the test. So it's a very well-researched test, and it uses real-world English. So if you can get a high score in IELTS, it means probably that you can also do well in real situations. It has what's called high external validity. So this basically means that if you get a high score in the IELTS, you can probably do well in university or in different situations. So that's what means external validity. The TOEIC doesn't really have good external validity. So sometimes people have a very high TOEIC score, but they're not very good at communicating. So just because you have a high TOEIC score doesn't mean that you can do well in a university course, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can speak fluently. It just means that you could get a high score on the test. It's a little bit like a kind of Galapagos test. So that's another advantage of the Ielts test compared to TOEIC. Although, I mean, they do accept TOEIC, the TOEIC score, some of the MBA schools, so you can do that. But I feel that the Ielts is kind of a better test of real English competence. It's actually quite good, especially the writing. If you can learn the skills to get a high score in the writing, then they really help you to do the writing on MBA programs, which of course are much longer and more difficult, but the skills that you learn are very useful. Focuses on communication. So the most important thing, especially in the speaking and the writing, is to be able to communicate your ideas clearly. It's not so much about grammar or just about vocabulary, it's actually about being able to use all the different skills to communicate. So the examiners are trained, so I had to do, you have to be a qualified teacher, so you have to have a British Council certificate in teaching English, and then you have to do the Ielts examiner training, which is quite tough, so the examiners are quite well qualified to judge your answers. And also widely accepted, so British universities, Australian universities, increasingly American universities, a lot of MBA programs will all either prefer or will accept an Ielts test for entry. Right. So those are kind of good points. Any questions about TOEFL or TOEIC or compared to Ielts? No? All good? Yeah? Alright, great. Good. So far so good. Alright. Great. Alright, so let's have a look at this